This one used to be called something else. Now it's called Knees Knock, and you guys have heard it 1,000 times probably, but it's never been published in a book. It starts with a quote from Breeze. I do not write experimental music. My experimenting is done before I make the music. Afterwards, it is the listener who must experiment. And many times you've heard me open it with a quote, shut the fuck up! Trying to make some music down here, jive-ass motherfuckers. John Zorn, August 1997, to Czech Republic President Václav Havel, U.S. Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, Laurie Anderson, and Lou Reed, who were talking during a Barkova show at the Knitting Factory. Their encroachment, sometimes welcome, sometimes haunting, can send a grown man to the John, the pulpit, the confessional, the madhouse. The same goes for all beings. Lasu apsu yelp, wolves bay, a car explodes, little kitty cats mew. Daddy's got a squeeze box, mommy cries herself to sleep. Karen is crazed by cuckoos in the night. The black blondes pop-a-lop and blabber in the venues while the pizzicato and the strummers die in the idiocy of Listerine strips and clogged up ears. It can be an absolute torment. People think they've got freight trains running through their head between cotton balls and earplugs. Bob saves up for a parabolic microphone with the tips he makes washing sedan windshields with a squeegee. Frank H. ducks from a blind, though he is deaf. Boom, boom, chug, chug, munch, munch. No silence. Plunging needles, perhaps, or popping pills to bring peace, but no silence. The buzz continues. Din. And nobody knows sound like me. Nobody knows sound. I hate sound and wear earplugs to work, to sleep, to everything, so I don't have to wear that sound, man, said the perturbed technician. Postal workers hum and groan, delivering checks to pay for the buffering, and the AC units drown out the crimes of the night. Love and happiness conquer the banal screams of use, and during the winter months, even Bach and Beethoven are muffled in the roar of the heaters, blowing their suffocating breath to keep the anemic from teeth chatters and shivers. A well-placed bug captures the ensuing moans, but can never take from her the past dalliances of the night and the voices for which she yearns. He'll never say, I love you. He doesn't speak English. He thinks she just wants the bang-bang. Ashamed of her lisp, he mutters to himself as he backs away each morning when the sickness is at its most audible. The coffee maker percolates to the ticking of the clock. The wrinkle of the sheets recalls the nightmare, and a swift machete to the femoral artery of problems with mama. The Sawtooth Mountains invite Morricone to the piazza, and the nuns beg their pupils to cease before the whack, whack, whack of the rulers on bones. The couple upstairs are fucking real good now, and they aren't afraid to share. Jimmy turns up the Wu-Tang. The triggerfish and the tree shrew hump in the night, too, till the bimbo says, I feel like, before each dribbling diatribe. And nobody knows sound like me. Nobody knows sound. I hate sound and wear earplugs to work, to sleep, to everything, so I don't have to wear that sound, man, said the perturbed technician. On the chipper side of town, the giggling and tee-heeing is enough to quell thought. Piss drips silently down the thighs of the plebes. Breezes sing through the lips of the leaves. A broken guitar string heals itself and whispers love into a salamander's backside. The poet likes to think she is piddling her onomatopoeia into the porcelain late at night when the neighbors quit cheering on their children with one strop after another. The muse wants for crisp exactitude. His hip pops with each step. The senator is not convinced by the beating of the hummingbird's wings. Taking a sedative only muffles life's concert, according to the Luddite. Troops stop off to war in search of the rat-a-tat-tat of freedom and the squishy blood of the brown people. So you don't have to sell your body to the pit with the booming system for another gallon of glug-glug. The bass player wants more vocals in the monitor. Wolf Eyes signs with Sub Pop. The leaf blower shows gumption but no horse sense. Its alarm asks for an answer. I've heard about enough out of you, mister. The release of the safety leaves only a click. The killer stomps down a hall in anger. And nobody knows sound like me. Nobody knows sound. I hate sound and wear earplugs to work, to sleep, to everything, so I don't have to wear that sound, man, said the perturbed technician. There is much fun in the gushing life source, in a blast to the brains with a blunderbuss, in a leaf rake across a certain smirk. The full moon sings its urgency in the middle of the night owls. Later, fenders crunch into each other, and a siren screams its self-importance as the doormen yell, "Last call!" Can you hear yourself think? Where is your inner voice, El Presidente? Can you hear that jingle, jangle, jingle? The hunger pang of a nation set to the bed of you gargling Satan's jism for a shizzle. Because there are rivers, because there are breezes, because there are trees blowing in those breezes. Nobody knows sound like you do, hound, like you do now, like bats and sonar. A billion boots crunch broken iPods like frozen snow and skulls of those that have held the nightmares of those masses. Brother, can you hear me? Can you see me near you? Brother, can you feel me? Is that you singing? Eat some pie or shut up. Do you remember the first time you heard Devo while John Cage hunted mushrooms and danced to the twigs snap? Remember? Ilsa was thanking God that farts were audible and munching on corn chips. Meanwhile, there was an interminable hiss in the PA, and the featured speaker could not be understood as your stomach grumbled and some chump cracked his knuckles and sucked on mentholyptus when he wasn't hacking up last night's phlegm. Schuler sneezes through a sizable schnoz. Kaufman pops a cough drop. The ball continues bouncing against the wall as the faucet drips, and a dwarf in wooden shoes does French press-fueled wind sprints on the wooden floors of your fragile mind. Time to jet the Zendo, Fifi. The encroachment, sometimes welcome, sometimes haunting, can send a grown man to the John, the pulpit, the confessional, the madhouse. The same goes for all beings. Lasu Apsu yelp, wolves bay, a car explodes, little kitty cats mew. Daddy's got a squeeze box, Mommy cries herself to sleep. Bob saves up for a parabolic microphone with the crumpled cash and makes squeegeeing sedan windows. Frank wears earplugs, though he is deaf. The buzz continues. The checks come in the mail to pay for the buffering, and the AC units drown out the crimes of the night. Love and happiness conquer the banal screams of use, and during the winter months, even Bach and Beethoven are muffled in the roar of the heaters, blowing their suffocating breath to keep the anemic from teeth chatters and shivers. A well-placed bug captures the ensuing moans, but can never take from her the past dalliances of the night and the voices for which she yearns. He'll never say, "I love you." Ashamed of her lisp, he mutters to himself as he backs away each morning when the sickness is at its most audible. The coffee maker percolates to the ticking of the clock. The sawtooth mountains invite Morricone to the piazza, and the nuns beg their pupils to seize. On the chipper side of town, the giggling and tee-heeing is enough to quell thought. Piss drips silently down the thighs of the plebes. Breezes sing to the lips of the leaves. A broken guitar string heals itself and whispers love into a salamander's backside. The muse wants for crisp exactitude. The listener is not convinced by the beating of the hummingbird's wings. Karin is crazed by cuckoos in the night. I've heard about enough out of you, mister. Taking a sedative only parlays a concert, according to the Luddite. Troops stomp off to war in search of the boom boom and the squishy blood of the brown people, so you don't have to sell your iPod. The release of the safety hardly makes a noise. The killer stomps down a hall in anger. Knees knock. The full moon sings as Peter turns off the radio and locks the gates.